Hey, everybody, welcome to Play Too Much at Subculture. I am at beautiful subterranean subculture in Manhattan, and my name's Brad Wagner. I'm your host, and we're lucky enough to be joined from sunny Los Angeles, California by TRISHES today. Trish, thank you so much for being here.
Hello. Thank you for
Hey.
having me.
Yeah, of course. This has been a total pleasure to set up. I'm very excited to share your music with the internet right now. Soundcheck sounded wonderful, and we're going to hear stuff from all across the catalog. Can you tell us what you're going to start out with today?
Yeah, so I'm going to do this spoken word piece that I always start my show with that kind of explains what Trish's is. And then I'm going to play a song called Animal. That is the first song I ever wrote for the project, and I also usually start my show with it.
All right, love to hear it.
Okay. Hello, my name is Trish, but you can call me Trish's because sometimes I don't feel like myself. Sometimes I feel like three separate selves, like my mind is divided into three separate shelves, and on the top is the spiritual self, and it's beautiful and kind. And on the bottom is the primal self, and it's ravenous and blind, and in the middle is the conscious self, and it feels pressure from both. Like a tug of war rope. Freud had names for these selves. He called the spiritual self the superego, and the primal self the id, and the conscious self in the middle, he called that the ego see. They all have a name, and they all have a say, and they're all in my head all day, every day, because they have different wants and desires and wishes. So if you listen carefully, you'll hear all three Trishes. Maybe I'm no good, 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 maybe I'm no good. We're all ancient artifacts dug up somewhere we can't go back, dull skin and broken back, polished and cracked. We're just primal creatures fighting primal needs because the writing procedures, the laws and the creeds. So tell me, can you get me down from this mountain that you put me on? Cause you bore me like an animal and you raised me like a saint. So tell me, can you get me down from this mountain that I'm falling off? Cause I'm feeling like a criminal when you're the one to blame. Maybe I'm no good, maybe I'm no good. Ooh, we sail the seas like take what we need and take some more. I am the new conquistador. I hide my urges in my words. Maybe I can't hide no more. It's starting to heat in my soul. I'm ready to fight and go for more. So tell me, can you get me down from this mountain that you put me on? Cause you bore me like an animal and you raised me like a saint. So tell me, can you get me down from this mountain that I'm falling off? Cause I'm feeling like a criminal and you're the one to blame. Maybe I'm no good, maybe I'm no good. 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 It's torturous, deciphering what I struggle with, the life I live, and I don't know who I am when I'm acting like somebody else. But maybe I'm no good, maybe I'm no good. Maybe so tell me, can you get me down from this mountain that you put me on? So tell me, can you get me down from you put me on. So tell me, can you get me down from this mountain that you put me on? 'Cause you bore me like an animal, and you raise me like a saint. I'm feeling like a criminal, and you're the one to blame.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Trish. We appreciate you doing this on your Tuesday morning for you, Tuesday afternoon for me. We know a bit more about the spiritual need for you behind this project. Can you from that the spoken word intro, can you talk a little bit about more how the project developed just in a practical way in the world? Like, so I know that you graduated from Berkeley, and then what have you done in the intermediate? Not that long. I mean, it hasn't been that long from then until now, and it seems like you've had quite a bit of success. Can you talk us through a little bit of what that's looked like?
So in Berkeley, I used to perform with a band. I still perform with a band sometimes. But when I moved out here, I just didn't have the money to pay people to play with me. So I got this loop station and I got this vocal effects processor. And it was just kind of a perfect timing because I was also dealing with these issues of like this internal conflict I was having, just trying to sort out like what my idea of morality is. And so these two pieces of equipment were just how I brought those selves into the real world, so I can use like all these different sounds to like be these different things, and like it just really helped me be able to express those selves. So that's kind of how the project developed musically. And I'm also just like I'm kind of an anxious person, and people will tell me in like conversation or like argument specifically, I repeat things. It's how I process things. And so the idea of looping is just like very natural to me.
Well, yeah, and you've chosen a good profession also. I mean, if repetition were not did not agree with your brain, then being a musician and playing those same songs day after day after day would be a rough thing. So it's a good. I mean, you've chosen wisely, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Nice. Well, there's a lot more music coming up today. Can you tell us who you're going to do second today?
Yes. So next I'm going to play a song called Caffeine. My latest release was a double single called Caffeine Gaslight. And they're about the beginning and the end of a brief romance that just like really messed with my mind. And there's a spoken word piece in the middle of the two songs called Thirsty as well. So caffeine is the beginning part, is the infatuation part, and there's like the inkling of like, oh, this person also seems dangerous, and my friends think he's a sociopath, but it's fine. So that's the next song.
Anxious, I'm jittery, I'm shaking, I can't sleep. I think when you kissed me, it went straight into my bloodstream. I don't think it's healthy to have so much anxiety, but you made my mind feel like French doors that you opened up wide. Anxious, lit in the light, like a third eye. I could drink coffee with you all day. Tell me everything that's in your brain, 'cause I believe anything that you say. Let you and the caffeine make my heart race.
that you'll call me, but you never do, so I'll call you. My friends think you're a sociopath. I don't believe that. Maybe you're a hypnotist, but if it's magic, I wanna witness it. If bad or good, it doesn't come along all the time. And I could drink coffee with you all day. Tell me everything that's in your brain. 'Cause I believe anything that you say. That you with the caffeine make my heart race. Be still, my heart, I can't keep up. Can't find the words, I've had too much. Can't sleep at night, you're in my veins. But I could drink coffee with you all day. Tell me everything that's in your brain. 'Cause I believe anything that you say. That you with the caffeine make my heart race.
Nice. Thank you. Well, this is awesome. So it's fascinating to watch you turn all of the knobs and the dials. I mean, you're clearly very adept at using those things. You're using them as instruments are used as an extension of your body. Can we talk a bit about what, when you go into the studio to record, like when you did Caffeine / Gaslight, are you the one turning all the knobs and pushing all the faders and doing all of the production and all of the engineering work, or do you tend to work with other people in the studio, or what does that process look like for you?
Yeah, I always work with a producer. So basically, I will bring in whatever the live version is, and we'll record each aspect of that live version, and then build on that. So, like in Caffeine and in Gaslight, they both start off with those like a vocal loop. So Caffeine, you have that da 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 da. And then and then we usually add in we'll usually like scrap a lot of the vocal percussion, maybe keep some of it, but then like fortify it with some other sort of percussion, and add in and bass and other things like that, other little sprinkles, but it's still like the skeleton is like what I do live.
Nice. Well, you clearly have the chops to wear all the hats yourself. Is it interesting to you to think about doing literally everything in the studio, or are you very happy the way the production scenario looks right now and having the help of somebody else with you in the studio?
Yeah, I've never really felt inclined to like produce everything. I mean, in a way, I definitely co-produce, but I'm much more attracted to the idea of spending my time learning how to be better at visual art, and learning how to be a better video editor, and learning how to be a better activist. Like, all of these things are things that interest me more than production.
Nice. Outstanding. Well, I mean, let us dive into, I want to hear more music, but I also definitely want to dive more into visual art and activism and everything that you're active in outside of music. But can we hear, I think we'll hear the other side of that single right now, right?
Yeah, Gaslight. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. I've slept in your bed more than once. My body's been naked with your body. Don't act like you don't know
I can see you do it often. You got your hand on the small of her back at the bar. You go to the corner, make out in the dark. I can see in front of me the gaslight is flickering. The gaslight is flickering. Oh, don't act like I'm crazy for taking you at your word. Don't act like I'm crazy 'cause seeing you with her hurt. Wish you didn't have such a common name. I see it on beer and Dr. Seuss books. You got your own club, you're an uncle, you're a cook, yeah, I get it, you can do anything. You made me feel like I could do anything. Wish I didn't have the memories of where you made it seem like we were seeds and we could grow. But now I know that you know that's never what you intended. But for the sake of pursuit you pretended, and I believed. And the gaslight is flickering. The gaslight is flickering. Oh, don't act like I'm crazy for taking you at your word. Don't act like I'm crazy 'cause seeing you with her hurt. Now I'm hungover and she slept over. The gaslight is flickering. The gaslight is flickering. The gaslight is flickering. The gaslight is flickering. I slept in your bed more than once. My body's been naked with your body. Don't act like you don't know me. Walking around this party, oh my God, what are you doing? Just treat me like a human, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And congratulations to you. That one premiered recently, just a couple of weeks ago on All Songs Considered on NPR. So well done to you. I listened to that episode. That's awesome. It's
I
got to
was
be
really
exciting.
excited.
Yeah, I bet. So that sounds amazing. We I want to talk a bit more about the visual artwork. So when what we just heard, or that's the most recent release, the EP Ego came out in 2019, and as opposed to touring in a traditional way, you put out, you can tell us a lot more about it and much more eloquently than I can, but you did these Ego experiences where it's like a experiential artwork pop-up as opposed to a traditional show. Can you tell us what that is and how maybe you're going to evolve that into being something that works, considering that nobody can tour traditionally at all right now?
Yeah, the Ego experience was really, really cool. A lot of work, but basically, Ego, the album, is based on 5 ideas. So, ego is the conscious self, like Freud's name for the conscious self. And so I chose things that I felt separated us from the primal self, but that often fail us because they haven't reached this divine spiritual self. So ego is government, money, language, self-awareness, and creativity. And basically, the ego experience were these events where you would come and you would check out a pair of headphones and you'd scan this little QR code and basically take like a guided tour through the album like a museum, because I love museums. Um, so I would guide you through the album, and you would hear the spoken word, and then in each of the five sections, there were 3 visual art pieces that I made for that topic. And then I had a local artist in whatever city I was in contribute visual art that expressed their community's relationship with that topic as well. And there would also be questions on the walls, and you'd have these little note cards, and you'd fill them out just to kind of get different people's ideas and different people's stories, like particularly with things like language and with government. How do different communities relate to those constructs? And then in the evening portion would be a performance. So I would perform and then also have a local artist perform.
That's amazing. That sounds like a perfect date night activity. I mean, well outside of the realm of a show and what you normally do when you go out to see something. That sounds really cool. And so, is there anything publicly announced about how these shows might extend out into COVID era? Are you considering doing them? Can we talk publicly about what might be coming up?
So nothing announced, but I'm definitely working on trying to have some sort of safe ego experience. We only got to do it in 3 cities, and I definitely hoped to do more over the spring and this summer, which obviously didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a lot of work for a 3 off. I mean, I really hope that you get to expose a lot more communities to that to this experience.
Yeah, and so hopefully when we have the situation more under control, I can do it in more cities. But working on finding a safe way to have it done here, and the concept will definitely go into other projects as well. I am really community focused right now, and I think one of the things that I love touring, I love performing live, but I didn't really like that I didn't get to communicate with the audiences in a deeper way. Not that performance isn't a deep way, it's just that they're only hearing from me and I'm not hearing from them. So to be able to hear from them was really, really special. So that's something I definitely want to carry throughout my career, having that type of experiential aspect.
Excellent. Well, I wish you the best in figuring out how to do this safely. Hopefully, a safe ego experience comes by New York City and I'm able to check it out. But thank you for this experience on my behalf and on behalf of the internet who's watching it right now. We do appreciate it very much. And speaking of ego, I think that is how we're going to close out the set. We're going to hear a couple from the 2019 debut EP. Can you tell us what's coming up next?
Yeah, the next song I'm going to play is Hydra. And then should I go straight into language? And language from ego?
I want to talk more about your artwork. Actually, I've got,
Okay.
I want to talk specifically about artwork and a little bit about your community mindedness and your activism outside of music. So let us chat. I mean, we can chat all afternoon. I don't have anything to do. So, I mean, we got time. But yeah, I'd love to hear a song, chat a little bit, and then the last one.
Great. I will play Hydra for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I normally do this monologue before Hydra, so I'm gonna do that. To the men wielding tiki torches and putting children in cages and putting knees to our necks and putting bullets in our chests, you cannot win. My people are resilient. We are forward thinkers, freedom fighters, and justice seekers. We are the Mahatma Gandhis, Nelson Mandelas, and Angela Davises. We are the college kids linking arms. If you incarcerate us, we will write letters that spur movements. Oppress us and we will create culture with unparalleled impact. Your children will sing our songs. You see, we have heads like a hydra. And if you run over one of us, you will find two in her place, because America is better with people like us in it. It is better with the immigrants and the people of color, the Muslims and the Jews, the queer and the dreamers. America is better with halal trucks and sriracha, yoga and hip hop and Bong Joon-ho movies. If you throw a dart at all of the things you hate, you are likely to hit me. You told me to go back to where I came from. I'm telling you, I'm not going anywhere. Centurions caught in the gates of my soul with furious flicks of my wrists. I will into existence. Sparks in the dark, welcome to the resistance. Mark my words with an asterisk. Too old to be an at-risk youth spilling truth on a napkin. I'm feeling loose. What'd you fill up the flask with? Kool-Aid news, putting facts in the caskets. But I can't die. I multiply, 'cause I got a head like a hydra, baby. Don't make me remind you. Lock us up, but cells got life. We duplicate and divide, because I got a head like a hydra. I got a head like a hydra. Yell telling me go home where I came from. I've seen this one before, it's a rerun. Symptoms of a sickness of a system. Time swings back like a pendulum. But I can't die. I multiply, 'cause I got a head like a hydra, baby. Don't make me remind you. Lock us up, but cells got life. We duplicate and divide, because I got a head like a hydra. I got a head like a hydra. 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 'Cause I got a head like a hydra, baby. Don't make me remind you. Lock us up and cells got life. We duplicate and divide, because I got a head like a hydra. I got a head like a hydra. My hands are scripturian centurions. God in the gates of my soul with furious flicks on my wrists. I will into existence. Sparks in the dark. Welcome to the resistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish. Nice. This is fun, man. This is great. Thank you. Speaking of this being great and this being your fault that it's great, I just downloaded a coloring book that you made. And so Caffeine, I meant to say this last time, but there is a coloring book so you can create the Caffeine Gaslight album in your own colors. And you're running a contest right now, right? So if I color this thing the way that I want it to be colored and then submit it, I think it's August 31st, right? You're giving shit away to people who get creative with your album artwork.
Yeah, I had this super fun project. So I try to take like one or two community college classes every semester, and I had this really fun project where we had to create these motifs and then all these textures within the motifs. And I was like, oh, the caffeine gaslight cover would be so cool if someone did it like that. And then I was like, oh, there's so many different ways this cover could be remade. So I just thought it'd be fun to do it, and I'm giving away like all of my favorite art supplies. So yeah, you just you can download it like either by subscribing to me on YouTube or following me on Spotify, and you download the coloring book version, and you do whatever you want with it, and then you post it on your story or your feed on Instagram and tag me at Trish's Music. And I'm just going to choose my favorite one and send out some art supplies.
Nice, nice. Well, that's amazing. Good for you for conceiving of that and executing it. And there's also I was just checking out the whole artwork section on your website. It's trishes.com/artwork, and I want to try to connect what your visual art looks like with what you're doing. Activist minded outside of music, because it seems, I mean, in the stuff that's posted there's a lot of, there's consistency, there's a cohesion to those images. There's a lot of money and blood and snakes, and it's an intense group of images that tell a similar story all taken together. Can you talk about the way that some of your visual sense ties in with some of the socially conscious acts that you take outside of music?
Yeah, the two collections on the artwork page are two from Ego. So there's the first three are from Hydra. So the idea with Hydra that I really wanted to get across was that humans are creative, and we sort of thrive when we thrive in necessity and under oppression creatively. You can see that just in music in America. It's built on Black culture. Um, and so the Hydra series really represents like how we are able to use our creativity to thrive under bad circumstances. And then the second set you saw was from Money, which is another song on Ego. And that just talks about how I feel about money, and that, you know, in our culture it's really valued over life, which is something that we're just seeing like so evidently from our government right now. It's just really disheartening. So all of the art pieces in Ego were really political, because I just felt like all of these constructs were political, but also because everything is through my living, breathing lens. So it's been um, it's been a year of growth for me. It's been a few years of growth for me in terms of political activism, and really spending more time and energy on that. And so I think that's why Ego and the artwork to do with Ego came out really political in that way. So yeah. Uh,
Well, so what are some of the specific things that you've been doing, spending your time in order to make a difference in this clearly less than ideal system of government and particular administration? I mean, I don't want to get overly specific here, but like what specific things are you doing in order to make a difference and benefit yourself, your community, people around you, etc.
So, for a while, I was working with refugees and asylum seekers. And unfortunately, refugees stopped coming in because we stopped letting them in. So there weren't many incoming refugee families to work with. And then I could not go to work with asylum seekers because of COVID, and the asylum seekers on the border in it's it's a really vulnerable community. So definitely don't want anyone going into those communities like spreading COVID. Um, so once lockdown started and everything, I decided to be more community focused, which we were speaking about a little bit earlier. That I tend to think of things on this like really national and global scale, which is important, but haven't really put in a lot of time and effort into like my immediate community. So I just started working with an organization called NoHo Home Alliance, which is like just up the street from here. And that's an organization that's really trying to address homelessness in my community. And so that, along with just like joining this revolution, going to, like, at first I was going to protest like every day. Now I go once a week to the weekly protest, the BLM LA weekly protest. And that's my, that's in the schedule, and consistency is important. But I definitely want to just keep speaking out on these things, and I just don't want us to lose momentum when it comes to social justice issues. So hopefully I can play some sort of role in keeping up that momentum.
Yeah, please keep doing it. We'll keep doing whatever we're doing here in order to amplify the voices of people that are doing what they can to make a difference. And so, yeah, thank you for doing that, and thanks for talking about it here and for playing the music. And there's still more of that left. Can you tell us what you're going to close out the set with today?
Yeah, so this last song is actually called Language, and I wrote it after working with one of the refugee families that I worked with, that I became very dear friends with. And at the time so this organization I worked with, we would like pick them up at the airport and we would help them find housing and all of these different things. And one of the women did not speak any English, and I did not speak any other language but English. So we communicated just through gestures and playing games and looking at pictures and watching movies, and it really broadened my perspective on language. And so I wrote this song called Language that I'm going to play now. I can feel it dance on the tip of my tongue. The air reached out from in my lungs, but I can't say what you never heard. So darling, I won't say a word. I could babble on till the seas run dry, but our castle still won't reach the sky. 'Cause sometimes speech gets sliced and slurred. So darling, I won't say a word. 'Cause there may be language for love and for anguish, stories and phrases blurred, but they all seem tried while I hold you tonight. So I won't say a word. I could borrow lines of poetry, but they won't say what you mean to me. So I'll hum a song sweet like a bird, and darling, I won't say a word. 'Cause there may be language for love and for anguish, stories and phrases blurred, but they all seem tried while I hold you tonight. So I won't say a word. Ooh, ooh, ooh. talk, then that's okay. Say the things you could never say. Get it off your chest and rest assured, darling, I won't say a word. Give me all your secrets and your hurt, and darling, I won't say a word. Thank you.
Thank you. Trish, this has been great. Thank you for coming by and doing it, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. It is now afternoon for you, and we'll stay tuned. So all the information as new music comes out, as potential to see you live, maybe when the ego experiences start to be available safely in different communities, that'll all be available at trishes.com. You're up on Instagram and Twitter at Trishes Music. And do you want to plug the magazine? I mean, I kind of want you to. The Valley Doll, we were talking about it a little bit offline. Yeah.
So my friend and I, we relaunched a magazine that she had built last year, and it's called Valley Doll Magazine. It's valleydoll.co, and we're really focusing on highlighting creatives and businesses in our community, but also just keeping up the momentum like we were speaking about earlier, writing pieces that are relevant, that keep us and our communities thinking about progress and how we're going to continually be a part of creating change in our communities and in the country. Yeah.
Outstanding. Well, best of luck to you on all of that. Hopefully the ego experience comes to New York and I'll be able to check it out. I mean, obviously everybody would like to get out and start interacting with human beings safely, but thank you for doing it super safely through the screens right here. I really enjoyed this session, Trish. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.